giving away a free incorporation guide to all business owners so you can incorporate in just 10 minutes. Call 1-800-966-1144 for your free 10-minute incorporation guide. They don't provide legal or financial advice, just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. You wouldn't skydive without a parachute. Don't run your business without being incorporated. Protect your home, your car, and
on a serious crisis.
In the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them. Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in. I would have done it.
I have 2 words for you. Predator drones. You will never see it coming.
It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Tonight, David and Gretchen will be tackling political correctness. And then we also take a look at Wayne LaPierre, president of the NRA, and has challenged President Obama to have a one-on-one debate on gun control. And you won't want to miss this week's chapter of What's Good for the Goose when the government is caught spying on the government. All that and more on tonight's On Target Radio. So be sure to give us a call at 312-642-5600. Go to Facebook and like our page, On Target Radio, and ask a question there.
And now, from the seething cauldron of personal opinion, it's time for David's Rant of the Week.
There is a line between reality and hate speech. I've been assertive about my disdain for political correctness because I've been in a car in traffic in Bangkok, Beijing, and Saigon. Believe me when I tell you, some ethnic slurs aren't. The problem is what constitutes hate speech. It's one thing to make generalized pejorative statements about an ethnic group and something altogether different about tearing down statues of Civil War generals. History is truth. Whether we like that truth or not is irrelevant. Edmund Burke got it right when he wrote, "Those who don't know history are destined to repeat it." What truly troubles me is this liberal bent toward cleansing history to fit a progressive agenda. We can overcome anything except being brainwashed. And there's no greater arbiter of brainwashing to further political correctness than the American university system. It's the front line of a cultural battleground between free speech and political correctness. I don't have a problem with academia having rules against racism, sexism, and so on. A university should be conducive to learning, and marginalizing any segment of the population is contrary to that goal. However, cleansing ideas so no one is ever offended is contrary to the fundamental principle behind higher education, to exchange and explore differing points of view. There is a substantive and singularly important difference between referring to someone with a racial slur and debating the efficaciousness of the welfare entitlement system. The problem is academia wants to stifle any discussion of the topic that falls outside of the progressive agenda. If you bring up the subject of the failure of the welfare system, you're a racist and silenced. Talking about the problems of the welfare system is not racist. It's a dialogue on a social issue that affects everyone in this country. The point is this: as a culture, we have lost our sense of reality and become intolerant of it. If one person is offended by anything, then everyone else must give it up. This nonsensical perspective has led universities to establish such outrageous concepts as trigger warnings. For those of you who live in the real world, you may be unfamiliar with trigger warnings. They are a phrase posted at the beginning of an article, a blog, a lecture, whatever, that warns something is coming you may not agree with and may even make you uncomfortable. There's a certain irony that a university tuition bill, the one university-related situation that actually warrants a trigger warning, doesn't have one. One can only wonder how many fathers reading their kids' tuition bill over dinner sprayed coffee across the dinner table. Last year, there was an abundance of over-the-top political correctness on university campuses. For instance, students at the University of Minnesota voted against a proposition that would provide for a moment of recognition on the anniversary of 9/11. If Edmund Burke were alive today, he would kick the snot out of whoever came up with that idea. My personal favorite, which began at Harvard and spread like Ebola to the University of Tennessee, was gender neutral pronouns to, and I quote, avoid awkward conversations. Are you kidding? What was awkward was trying to remember the stupid words they made up to replace gender specific words. And even if you did replace them, weren't you simply creating a new set of gender specific words? And if trying to eliminate gender specific words wasn't awkward enough, 2015 saw the rise of males wanting to be females and demanding access to women's restrooms and locker rooms. If I were 16 and learned that all I had to do was say, I felt like I was a female and I could gain access to the girls' locker room, it would make hiding issues of Playboy under my mattress obsolete. I'd have been standing in line next to Klinger matching high heels to my outfit. Look, I sympathize with anybody that wishes that they were anything else. I wish I were filthy rich beyond any measure of good taste. But let's be practical. Monty Python summed up the disingenuousness of political correctness over 40 years ago in a skit about Eric Idle wanting to be a woman. Idle accused Graham Chapman of repressing him when Chapman told him he couldn't be a woman. You can't have babies. You don't have a womb. Where's the fetus going to gestate? You're going to keep it in a box? There's a fine line between reality and hate speech, and academia has blurred it. And that, Gretchen, is my rant for the week.
Very insightful.
Insightful indeed. I wish at 16 I could have said, I feel like a girl. I want to go in the girls' locker room. That'd be hot. Did you see that?
You think that, but
well, I don't
actually,
know. Having
no.
never been in, I don't really know that.
Yeah.
One would think, but they installed curtains. Now, am I the only person that thinks that's not going to work?
Well, not only that, but I guess I'm kind of missing the point. They had a separate changing area for this transgender person already. If they were just going to create another separate changing area, I'm missing the point.
The point is she or it can walk through a crowd of naked girls to get to a place where they can't see him.
Mm-hmm.
What could possibly go wrong with that?
Right, exactly. And there were 6 girls that spoke out against it. And that was basically what they said is, it makes it so we don't have to see him, but it doesn't make it so that he doesn't see us.
Listening to On Target Radio's AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. If you are a father and you have a daughter, what would you do if your daughter came home and told you that a boy, they're still a boy, technically. I mean, they're still a boy. Yeah.
He's still a boy.
Now has access and can watch your daughter change in a locker room at school.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the fathers?
Well, right, exactly. The only parent quoted in the article was the mother.
Right.
I would think the fathers would be there with their shotguns, but apparently it's Texas in my mind.
Well,
so.
and I'll tell you something. To me, the proof that this is a pile of steaming, I can't say
you know
that.
What?
So I guess George is waving at me already. A pile of steaming something or other. Have we read a single article about a woman who wanted to get into the boys' locker room?
Negative.
George, yeah, exactly. It hasn't. I mean, and there are females. Chaz Bono is an example.
Absolutely.
But I mean, there are some females, but they don't go, I want to go in the boys' locker room.
Right, exactly. They just suck it up and deal with it.
But the boys are going, I should be a woman. I want to go in the women's locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that the school district had already acquiesced on everything else. They gave this boy access to women's restrooms, girls' restrooms, girls' sports teams.
Had his own place to change.
Yeah. Had a separate locker room, and to make it so that he didn't have to change alone, he could invite his friends to move their lockers in there as well. Apparently that wasn't working for him.
So what is the common denominator here? You get everything you want, but we're not giving you admission to the girls' locker room. It's not good enough.
That's the only thing I actually wanted.
Not good enough. Yes.
That was actually the linchpin all along.
That doesn't sound a little weird right there all by itself?
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, of course, none of the girls apparently are like, they're not adopting him. He's not like,
right.
Yeah. Oh, you want to come out and do a pajama party with us?
There's literally only one student, one female student who has spoken out in defense of this person and saying that she thinks that they should do it.
The one that said, I can't possibly imagine what you're going through, that one?
No, it was one saying like, oh, they told us that it only matters how you feel on the inside. When I was growing up, they taught us that it only matters how you feel on the inside. Let me see if I can find it.
It's I'll tell you how you feel on the inside. You feel like you want to go in a girl's locker room. That's how you feel on the inside.
Oh yeah, Lauren Gregory, a 17-year-old attending the same high school, sees the situation differently. She said, I know a lot of people are talking about privacy, and there's been a lot of talk about anatomy, but the things we value most in life are not physical. Everyone tells your kids when you grow up, don't about how you look, it's what's on the inside that counts. I think I really carry that with me still. And I think that if someone feels a certain way and they feel like they're in the wrong body, then I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. Well, after you cut it off, let me know. Here's the thing. The thing is, well, we got to take a break. We're going to talk a little more about this when we come back. I want to hear from the fathers. I want to hear from the fathers. 312-642-5600. Weigh in on this. Your daughter is in a locker room with guys now, okay? You're on Target Radio, and this is AM560, The Answer.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Taking a look at traffic downtown, street shutdown between Wacker and Hubbard with a high-rise fire in the 300 block, and in Sandwich, Illinois, a rollover at Pratt Road and Sandwich Road. Elsewhere, things moving well on the Edens. The Kennedy still just 20 inbound from O'Hare to downtown in spite of the right lane weekend roadwork from Madison to the Circle. That roadwork also leaves the exit to the outbound Ike closed until 5 a.m. tomorrow. Outbound is clear as well, 20 out to O'Hare and 8 in the Express. Eisenhower in, slows Racine to the Circle, 30 from Thorndale, 17 from Manheim. Outbound is clear. No delays on the Stevenson, I-57 or the Ford. Inbound Ryan a little heavy, 79 to 76 from an earlier crash, 17 minutes in from 95th Street. Very cold, 2 degrees out there, mostly clear night with a low of -2, and tomorrow a high of only 11. Next update in 15 minutes on AM560 The Answer.
I believe in the Second Amendment. It's there written on the paper.
It's over there on that piece of paper.
The Joe Walsh Show.
The guy doesn't give a damn about the Second Amendment. He can't even say the word Constitution. He can't even say it's right there in the Bill of Rights. It's right there in the United States Constitution. This son of a gun can't even say that.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM560. The Answer.
For over 100 years, the Illinois State Rifle Association has supported the rights and freedoms of Illinois citizens to keep and bear arms. For over 100 years, the ISRA has supported the use of firearms as a sport for personal protection and as a fundamental aspect of national defense. For over 100 years, the Illinois State Rifle Association has been supporting you. Don't you think it's time you supported them? ISRA.org or 815-635-3198. The Illinois State Rifle Association, supporting you.
And a major meteor collision could hit within the next 4 billion years.
Lucky we have homeowners insurance. What? If a meteor hit our home, we'd be covered.
But homeowners insurance isn't helping us with our busted furnace.
No.
And it won't help get the plumbing fixed, or our refrigerator, or the oven, or anything else that happens to break down. That's why we need a home warranty.
Homeowners insurance can cover things that might happen, like a meteor destroying your home. But a home warranty from Home Shield helps protect your budget against what will happen. Component breakdowns of up to 21 major home systems and appliances, like your heating, plumbing, refrigerator. For valuable free information, go to ahs.com or call 1-800-900-4317.
The odds of a meteor destroying your home are 180 trillion to 1.
To protect your budget against home appliance breakdowns, get an American Home Shield home warranty. For free information, go to ahs.com or call 1-800-900-4317. 1-800-900-4317.
Hey, Steve Harvey here. Now, I've been told I know a thing or two about surveys, but I was really interested to learn the answers the Illinois Emergency Management Agency gave when asked to name the top 5 items every Illinois family needs to have in their home's emergency disaster kit: water, non-perishable food, a weather radio, and of course a first aid kit. There's no need for a family to feud over what to include in your kit. Get the answers at ready.illinois.gov.
Sponsored by the Illinois Emergency Management Agency, aired in cooperation with the Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. Where are the fathers? 312-642-5600. Are you telling me this audience, there isn't a father in this entire listening audience, except for just waving his hand in the control room, who objects to this? I find this hard to believe. I mean, I say some simple stuff and it lights up the phone board. And I'm talking about boys. Here's another thing. Girls who are 16, 17 years old, as are boys too, not just females, have such self-image issues. You know?
And the girls said that. They addressed a school board meeting and they said that.
Boys have the same issues that, you know, and
really, I've never met a boy or man who didn't think he was God's gift.
Men have insecurities just like everybody does. It's a common joke. I know that, but males have insecurities. It's just males aren't allowed to talk about that. They have to act macho. Otherwise, you lose your man card. You never get on. You never get on a show called The Man Show. I can't say that name either. I can say Pinker. Oh, okay. All right.
You can say it. He just can't come in.
He can't come in. That's right. Okay. Yeah, well, it is. There you go. So anyway, but yeah, this list that they came out was an article written in Red Alert Politics. They listed the top 5 campus controversies in 2015. The first one was the 9/11 one.
I was going to say, what's your favorite? I'll tell you my favorite.
Well, I have to admit that I as you know, I had a sort of interest in the gender neutral noun.
Oh, you like the pronouns?
It's not that I like it. It's just so bizarre.
Well, I'm using like in a facetious way.
Yeah, I got to admit the food ones are.
The Mexican food one is, especially the sci-fi event, is very, very funny.
I'm sorry.
I was laughing out loud when I was reading it, to be honest with you. Mexican food was served. University of California, Santa Barbara. We may as well put them on blast.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Mexican food was served at a sci-fi themed event. Some students found this offensive after relating science fiction to space aliens, ergo space aliens, illegal aliens.
I don't know what to say about that. and it's
because it's just funny.
It's tacos. I mean, do we have to get that bent out of shape over tacos? But you know what? The Clemson one is interesting because they were actually trying to do something good. They were trying to make diversity in their dining hall. They were trying. Sushi.
That was the Oberlin one.
Oh, Oberlin. I'm sorry.
That was Oberlin
with the sushi.
Yes.
Yeah, they were trying to be diverse in their food choices.
They called it culturally appropriative,
which is another.
I'm actually not even sure why that's negative.
Well, it is obviously because it's.
But to me, the only people who can complain about you appropriating their culture is Japanese people.
No,
we're talking about sushi. Only Japanese students can complain. At Oberlin, there's probably 1 or 2.
See, this is where you don't understand. If you're liberal, you look at the chief. Here's a good example. And you know, this, I rag on this all the time.
And then I'll tell you my favorite.
And you look at Chief Illiniwek, who is a revered symbol, never a cartoon character, very revered symbol. The people who complained about were a couple of white professors.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to. The Indians didn't complain. First of all, there are no Illiniwek Indians to begin with.
Right.
It was a general name for tribes in this part of the country. You look at the Seminoles in Florida, they love it. You know why?
They get paid.
They get paid. There you go. They get paid.
I know the answer to that question.
We got a call. Peggy is on the phone, and Peggy is talking about. In fact, I think she's saying what I said. How you doing, Peggy?
Okay. I just wondered. It's sort of an obvious fact that when little kids are little, they can go around naked. Nobody thinks anything about it, and that's okay. They have like a body image that is just sort of generic. But as little kids get older, and girls especially, when they hit puberty and all those hormones start hitting their body, they change. And they develop a sense of modesty. They cover their nakedness. And I think it's probably the same thing is true with boys, that, whereas before they just played baseball together or whatever, but there's a time when all that changes. And you would think a parent or an adult, any adult, would realize you don't mess with that.
Well, Peggy, as I've been saying several times now, where are the fathers? I honestly thought the phone would light up with a bunch of guys who are going, I'm going to kill them if they do that. I'll kill them. I'm going to take them out and back. I'm going to beat them with a baseball bat. And nothing. Who calls a woman?
Well, yeah. I just wonder now, when you do that, suppose you really succeed and you tell a female, oh, it doesn't matter. Your response there should be no response, whether it's a male or female. And I'm thinking, you really want to do that? You really want to emasculate them?
That's nonsense, Peggy. You're right. I mean, this is just wrong. This is wrong on so many levels. It's hard to even begin to unwrap those levels.
It really is. I have a theory about why the dads aren't calling. I think they're gobsmacked.
No, I think they're probably watching a football game or something.
Oh, you don't think they're polishing their guns, or they can't even wrap their minds around this concept?
No, I don't know. I
think they're gobsmacked.
You just wanted to get that word in the show.
No, I have plenty of opportunities to say gobsmacked.
I am kind of surprised that fathers haven't called in. It's just, if I had a daughter, well, for that matter, let me say something. If I had a son, even, and this was going on in the school, what does it say about the morality of the people who run the school?
Right.
It isn't even about girls' locker rooms. It's about, you would allow that to happen in your school.
Right. Well, they tried. I would say, to their credit, they tried to avoid the situation, but the federal Department of Education forced them into this.
Is that still Arnie Duncan?
I think the guy might be.
Who totally screwed up in Chicago.
Right. So then he got a promotion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what does that tell you? Another Obama buddy.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, so my favorite, we have 2 minutes. My favorite part of the top 5 politically correct campus controversies of 2015 is microaggression.
Yes, another new word.
I think microaggression is awesome because you can use it for anything.
It's a double-bladed sword.
It is.
It is indeed.
It is, and I like to use the backside.
And I could sense that we have someone on the phone named Tony who is going to microaggress. What would we say? Microaggress. I don't
think you can change the noun into a verb.
It's a living language, Fritz. Living language. Tony, you want to know a very important question. What is it?
I want to know, why hasn't, okay, first of all, the person who's doing this is the boy's mother. Okay. Why hasn't anyone sued her for their rights, their privacy rights? I mean, this is what I don't understand. Why is it that conservatives are so scared to fight liberals? Why they just won't fight back? It's just cowardly. Because the mother is a lawyer. She's the one pushing all this stuff. Sue her behind. Can you imagine 50 people suing this idiot all at once?
Gretchen and I have said this before on the show. We really have a problem with this Congress for exactly what you're saying. If we were in Congress, we would be constantly throwing stuff at Obama and the Democrats, keeping him in court all the time, just keep pushing. And you're right. That's what they need to do. These people get away with it, Tony, and that's why it emboldens them to do it.
It's that simple. And it just bugs me. I mean, it's embarrassing to see people just fall to these whack job liberals, this microaggression. I have a microaggression. It's called, I can't stand liberals. When I hear the word liberal, I freak out. I need my safe zone to be in. I need to I need to cuddle up when I hear a liberal speak. It's on my nerves.
Well,
so that's all. Fight back.
Isn't it interesting? Thank you, Tony. Isn't it interesting that that conservatives can't take umbrage at these things, because then that's being racist, sexist, whatever. But if it's a liberal, they can do this, and it's just because of the right thing to do.
Right.
Do we call that a let's see, double standard? Yes,
it is. They're lousy with double standards. I've often said that.
Interesting stats as we're going into the break, but interesting stats. There's been a 20% jump in the number of professors who identify themselves as liberal in the past quarter century. Now it's about 5-1 liberal to conservative in faculty. We're going to come back and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And we're going to talk about the NRA CEO has challenging Obama to a gun debate. All that and more on Target Radio when we return. And you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
President Obama delivered his final State of the Union address, and you heard it here on AM560, The Answer.
Anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction.
As the nation faces the continuing threat of terrorism,
we have to take them out.
And wrestles with the issue of gun control.
We did not, in the words of Lincoln, adhere to the dogmas of the quiet past.
What happens in the final months of the Obama presidency?
I know some of your answers get back to Iowa.
Happens here on AM560, The Answer.
Fox News Radio, I'm Jane Metzler. The Democratic presidential candidates now debating for the last time before the Iowa caucuses and New Hampshire primary. Senator Bernie Sanders also releasing his Medicare for All proposals, saying on CBS's Face the Nation.
Healthcare for all is a right, and we can save the middle-class families thousands of dollars a year in their healthcare costs.
Under his plan, the tax rate for people who make $250,000 to $500,000 a year would be 37%. For those making $10 million or more, it would be 52%. Also in Face the Nation, Hillary Clinton discussing the Iran nuclear deal.
The Iranians have so far fulfilled their side of the bargain by destroying centrifuges, by shipping out 98% or so of their enriched uranium out of their country.
5 Americans held in Iran released. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Taking a look at traffic in Elgin, you have Shale Road shut down south of Summit with a fire, and a structure fire downtown as well in the 300 block of North State Street. State shut down between Wacker and Hubbard as crews do their thing. Over on the Edens outbound, solid delays. Gulf to Glenview, 2 left lanes blocked there with a crash. 24 from Montrose to Lake Cook, inbound delay free. Kennedy not seeing any delays through the inbound right lane roadwork from Madison to the Burns Circle interchange. You also have the ramp to the outbound Ike shut down until 5 a.m. tomorrow. Right now, just 20 minutes in either direction between O'Hare and downtown. 30 minutes on both sides of the Ike, the Stevenson, Ryan, I-57, and the Ford, all looking good. Very cold outside, just 2 degrees, dropping to negative overnight, and very cold tomorrow on MLK Day. Get next update in 15 minutes on AM560 The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
The United States is in desperate times. Democrats have changed your health care so they pick your doctor and health plan. Democrats support the passage of laws like France to disarm law-abiding citizens. Democrats continue to tax and spend. Our next election is for the future of the United States of America. Will we truly fight terrorism or disarm Americans step by step? Will the Supreme Court justices follow the Constitution or vote for the latest social fads? Will government borrowing to support failed social programs take more and more money out of your pocket to pay the debt? It is time to win the Republican primary for candidates who think like you do. Research the candidate's prior voting record. Make sure the candidate who gets your vote really supports the same causes you do. Look for the most conservative candidate who can win against their Democrat opponent next November. The March 15, 2016 primary is the one election you cannot afford to miss.
Paid for by Edward.
If you love delicious Indian
Cuisine in Schaumburg. For over 18 years, Gaylord has served an extensive lunch and dinner menu of fine Indian cuisine. Signature dishes include tandoori jhinga jumbo prawns, chicken tikka masala, or the tangy and hot southern Indian specialty lamb vindaloo. All dishes are prepared using only quality fresh ingredients. Even the elaborate $12.95 lunch buffet is cooked that morning. Manager Darren Diabrio invites you to come early when they open at 11:30 weekdays and noon on weekends to see and smell the freshness for yourself. It's highly recommended you skip breakfast and lunch, and Gaylord can accommodate business meetings or events for up to 60 people. Gaylord Fine Indian Cuisine is on Mall Drive, just south of Woodfield Mall. 847-619-3300 or visit GaylordIL.com. Gaylord Fine Indian Cuisine in Schaumburg is the Mercedes of fine Indian dining. 847-619-3300.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right, so I called AI Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes and save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-503-6673. That's 1-800-503-6673. 1-800-503-6673.
Listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back. We're on Target Radio. Hi, I'm Rick Cizak, the Advertising Sales Director for the On Target Media Group. You own a small business and you have more exposure to potential customers. What small business doesn't? We can help. For over 3 years, the On Target Media Group has been helping small businesses grow. We offer many different and affordable packages through our partnership program. Plus, we can even create a custom program tailored to your business needs. To find out more, contact me today at sales.ontargetradio@gmail.com or visit our website at otmediagroup.net/sponsorship. We look forward to our business reads its target.
We have a comment on Facebook from Harry that says, "Aren't there any Muslim kids in that school? I wonder what their parents have to say about this." That's a very good question.
Be jihad. Not going to put up with that kind of stuff.
No.
And you know who else won't put up with that? Rich from Chicago won't put up with that kind of stuff. Rich is probably considered carry guy.
A proud NRA member, folks. I enjoy your show.
See? Did I get that or what?
You got it.
You got it, Rich.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
All right, brother.
Concerning the topic, you know, if I was ever out like with my wife or my daughter, even my ma, you know, and they had to go. I came across one of these transgender type of bathrooms. I made sure they went in. It was safe. And I'd stand outside until they were done, and I would physically restrain any of these freaks from going in there while they're in there.
You know, I've spent a lot of time in Asia. I covered it when I was for the magazine. And a lot of places in Asia have just that. And I got to tell you, knowing that, it's weird to be in the John standing there and some woman walks in behind you. You know, Rich?
You know, I could imagine, but see, the thing is, no agenda-driven law is going to stop me from protecting my loved ones. You know what I mean? That's let me be arrested. I don't care. You know what I mean? That's the way it goes.
I do. I agree, and I can't believe you're the only guy that's called tonight.
You know, and the thing is, as far as the schools, you know, one person's not going to do it. You know, if it has to be everybody resisting, male, female, the whole business. In numbers, you'll stop it.
Yeah, you're right. The short answer is everybody takes their kid out of that school.
Yeah, correct.
And that'll have a pretty profound impact.
Or all the girls get yanked off of all the sports teams, and then they're still going to lose their Title IX funding.
That's right.
That was really the threat. That was the threat from the feds is we'll take away your Title IX funding if you don't, if you keep discriminating against this kid. And but if all the girls stop playing sports, they're going to lose their Title IX funding anyway.
You know, like I said, if you get more people just keep doing stuff like that, sooner or later people would stand up and take notice that we're not going to put up with that.
So, Rich, you're a South Sider?
Yeah.
How did I guess that?
Yeah.
How did I know that? See,
for now.
If you were from, I grew up in River Forest. If you were from north of Madison Avenue, this discussion would be different. You'd be going, well,
Yeah, well, no, we don't.
Yeah. South Side.
I'm an old style South Sider.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For now, anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody in like Logan Square would say, I'll stand in front of the frickin' door. Come at me, I'll kill him.
I'll physically restrain them.
You know what I mean? Like I said, that's the only way you'd be able to handle that. It's, you know what? Hey, geez, what else can you do? You know?
I find it, frankly, I find it appalling. And
I do too.
I tend to be, between Gretchen and I tend to be a little more socially liberal than Gretchen is. Yes. But even I think that's way over the top. Way over the top.
You know, in action, you know, I mean, like they say, how do I want to say it? I'm looking for the words, non-action or tolerance or something leads to acceptance. You know what I mean? And
Right.
that's it. You know what I mean? In action, pretty soon they'll get away with this, and the next thing I don't even want to think about what they got in mind after that.
Right.
You know.
You're right, Rich. You're right, and I appreciate you calling. Thank you very much.
All right, buddy.
All right, you take care.
You.
All right. Yeah, I mean, he's right. We see this with gun control. You know, we just want this one. This is right. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. This is for the children.
Right.
But that's all we want. And then right
Like
away.
5 minutes after the Supreme Court said you can't keep homosexuals from getting married, then what was the next thing? Then it was 3 people want to get married. Then it was, I want to marry my dog. I mean, it was almost instantaneous.
Yeah, they were lined up. They were queued up.
They were.
Yeah,
they were.
True.
And as we said, it was probably never about gay marriage at all.
And I apologized on air because you remember I said I have friends who are gay and they're very committed. I didn't have a problem. I never liked the fact that they wanted to use the word marriage.
Right.
Civil union, and most of the people I know would say, well, we don't care. So marriage is like a lightning rod.
It is.
But you were right.
And semantics matter.
It does. Really right, because no sooner was that a law than boom, they were lined up. They were waiting for that.
They were.
Yeah, it's a bunch of, I can't say that word either. George, you'll bleep me on that one. I almost said a bad word.
Can we say BS?
When we come back, we're going to take another break.
Apparently we can say BS.
I think George might be asleep. I don't know. Oh, he's looking. His fingers poised on the button.
He said yes.
Yeah, but his fingers poised on the button. I can see he's waiting for me to say something.
He's waiting for you to say that.
When we come back, we're going to talk to Luis in Chicago when we return after a few messages. He has an interesting take on this, and it's definitely worth listening to. So hang in there, Luis. We will be back. But until then, we got a few messages for you, and we will come back with more on Target Radio. And you are listening to AM560, The Answer.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Taking a look at traffic. Good news downtown. State Street reopened between Wacker and Hubbard from the earlier high-rise fire. And some bad news out on Elgin. You have a structure fire closing Shales Parkway south of Summit Road. On the outbound Eden, solid Dempster to Glenview. 2 left lanes blocked there with a crash. 30 minutes from Montrose to Lake Cook. Inbound delay free. Clear on the Kennedy. And the Eisenhower inbound is 30 minutes from Thorndale. 17 from Mannheim. Outbound side, 32 back to Thorndale. Slowing Costner to Harlem. A lot of it is Blackhawks traffic with the game just getting out. Stevenson, Ryan, I-57 and the Fort are all clear. You're looking good on Lakeshore Drive, the Elgin O'Hare, your 4 Illinois tollways, and the roads in and out of Northwest Indiana. Very cold, only 2 degrees out there right now, dropping to around -2. A wind chill advisory is in effect. Tomorrow, sunny, a high of only 11. Next update in 15 minutes on AM560 The Answer.
If you're looking for a better shooting experience, imagine shooting virtually all your firearms the same day. You can move and shoot steel, draw from the holster, or compete in a 3-gun match. You can exercise that rifle out to 600 yards, even engage in a very challenging sporting clays course, or a round of trap or skeet. Do all that and much more at the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Whether you're a novice looking for a basic course or an experienced shooter looking for an advanced course, even if you want to participate in your favorite shooting event such as IDPA or cowboy action shooting. Spend an enjoyable day with the family at the Aurora Sportsman's Club, the only shooting facility in the region that offers all of that and more. If that sounds interesting, don't miss the next orientation and a tour of the Aurora Sportsman's Club in Waterman, Illinois. Call the membership department at 815-264-9000 extension 44 for information. That's 815-264-9000 extension 44 to join a one-of-a-kind shooting facility. The Aurora Sportsman's Club.
Here's some great news. Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates can help you with your retirement game plan. You know Jack, or you should. Jack is the president and founder of Tabota & Associates. He's been helping folks just like you retire successfully for 3 decades. Jack has the insight, information, strategies, and experience you can use to build wealth and keep it. Live good. Retire well with Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates. 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955.
Okay, kids, the campfire's out. Let's hit the road.
Dad, the fire's not out. It's still smoking.
No, close enough.
Come on, Dad, do your homework. If it's too hot to touch, then it's too hot to leave.
I knew that.
You're never too young to get your smoky on. If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at smokybear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more On Target Radio, and we're getting we got a couple fathers here. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. We're talking about would you like your 16-year-old daughter in a locker room with boys? I don't know about that. It kind of scares me. But Lewis has an interesting insight into this whole thing. How are you doing this evening?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. This is an interesting thought. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to make the point, when you focus on individual issues like transgender things and same-sex marriage, stuff like that, I think there's a bigger issue involved here, and that's basically it's an attack on the religious foundations of this country. You're talking about people who really want to undermine what this country was built upon. And when Obama was talking about guns and Bibles, he wasn't kidding. They're after your Bible as well as your gun. They're out to undermine the religious foundations of this country, and that's what it's all about. Like you were saying, after this issue is over, they're going to go to polygamy. That's going to be the next one, and they're going to just keep going on and on to attack religion.
I agree. We actually have seen there've already been people who've been talking about that very thing, about having multiple wives and 2 men and 2 women getting married and that kind of thing.
I have to mention again my favorite documentary. It's called Agenda, and it basically talks about the communist agenda, how they were going to infiltrate America and they were going to destroy it from the inside out. And that was one of the things on the agenda, is make people question the Bible and religion. If you can remove that, you can remove lots of moral decisions that people make. And that's one of the things that the Nazis did. There's another documentary that Ben Stein did called Expelled. And part of that, he talks about how the Nazis didn't question anything that they were told to do. And they could even do human experiments on live people,
right? Because
they basically said, Jewish life has no value. And so if you do that, if you convince yourself that life has no value, then it opens up the world to all sorts of horrible things.
I put a thing on my Facebook page today. It's 50 years old, roughly. Paul Harvey. I don't know if you caught that. And he said, if I were the devil, this is what I would do. And literally everything, this is 50 years ago. Yeah. Literally everything is exactly what has happened. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Take God out of it, make the government the central figure. I mean, everything that's in this thing, it's on our Facebook page. And actually, it's on mine. But yeah, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're taking it apart step by step. You don't win a cultural war by imposing everything at once.
Right.
You slowly just undermine the basic precepts of the culture until it just crumbles in on itself.
Yep.
Somebody famous said, you can't attack us from without. We're too powerful. If we're going to fall, it's going to be because we're attacked from within. And that's literally what's happening.
Yes.
And you read the newspaper. I just read the newspaper. Somebody this week, I don't remember who it was in the Trib. Basically, they still with this, conservatives and their they've dreamt up this whole thing. Look at Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton hasn't said anything honest or done anything honest for years. I mean, every time she opens her mouth, some lie is coming out of it. And Obama, we've said this before, he told us he was going to do this.
Yes.
People just interpreted what he said in the way they wanted to hear it.
Right. They heard what they wanted to hear.
Exactly. He said, I will fundamentally change this country. And brother, has he done it?
Yeah.
He has fundamentally changed it. All right. The question becomes, are we too far down the road?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I encourage everybody to watch Agenda. If you haven't seen it, you need to go rent it, Netflix it, whatever. You need to see it.
So in the talent and the thing that Obama had last week, he really didn't. He invited the NRA, and there's a big brouhaha about the NRA didn't go, and that was
he invited in air quotes.
Yeah. What is not making the mainstream press is he told them, yes, you could come. You could have one question, and it had to be approved in advance.
Pre-approved.
What's the point of going?
Right. And that's what they said.
Exactly. So LaPierre, who's president of the NRA, has issued a challenge to debate Obama one-on-one about guns. Let's see. What are the chances of that happening? 0.
Yeah, slim to none.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. But it's an interesting, you know what? Even Bill Clinton, who I was no fan of Bill Clinton, but even Bill Clinton got more respect than this guy,
Yeah.
I mean, Bubba did, and I'll tell you what the difference is. Bill Clinton was a snake, but I don't think Bill Clinton was anti-American.
No.
I
never got that feeling.
Yeah, it's he was taking advantage of stuff. He was crooked. He was blah blah blah. But that's the American way in politics.
I mean he may grope women, illicitly and lie straight to our faces when he's being deposed, before Congress, things like that. But he never hated America. He didn't want to destroy America.
Exactly, and which this guy is very clearly, and how the press can still go, that's right wing fantasy.
Right.
No, it's not. It's not right wing fantasy.
It's not our imagination.
Even some of the press is beginning to say 60 Minutes, the thing they did toe to toe, face to face with the president of the United States sitting across from him, said your foreign policy is, what word did he use? I forget.
Laughable? An embarrassment? No, an embarrassment. I think
an embarrassment. I think that was what it was. That's unheard of. Totally unheard. Even if it were a Republican president they didn't like, they wouldn't say it that way. They wouldn't say it that way. We're out of control, and we're also out of time. And I want to talk a little bit. I want to talk about. We're going to bring it up when we come back. We'll be back after this message, and we're going to talk real quickly about Paul and his concern in Congress. We'll be back with more on Target Radio, and you're listening to AM560 The Answer.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble, and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Hi, I'm Brendan Burchard. Some people call me the world's highest paid motivational trainer, and some people call me crazy because I've just authorized a nationwide giveaway of my recent New York Times bestseller, The Motivation Manifesto. In the next 24 hours, I want to give away as many free books as possible. To get your hardcover copy, call 1-800-600-7769 or go to motivationbook.com. If you want to reach your true potential, personally, professionally, or financially, you need this book. You'll discover how to stop feeling tired and overwhelmed, identify the major enemies keeping you from living your dreams, and learn the secrets to defeating them. I'll teach you my proven strategies to start attaining the levels of drive and personal success you're craving. Financial freedom, emotional freedom, time freedom. Due to high demand, I can only offer one free book per household. To get your free book while supplies last, call now 1-800-600-7769. That's 1-800-600-7769. Or go to motivationbook.com.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. I really wanted to cover this one last item. We didn't get to it. Rand Paul is calling for limiting the NSA's powers, okay? Because guess what Rand Paul found out? The government that they said should spy on people also happens to be spying on Congress. And he finally took umbrage at that. That upset him. And I just thought that's karma, Pass the law for everybody else. What does Congress always do? They get out of it by exempting themselves, except now the government's watching the government. Doesn't that raise the question, who's really in charge?
Right. Yeah, I love how he says, in reality, what we need is more targeted surveillance. I'm not against surveillance. Just don't surveil me.
That's it. That's it.
That's the part he didn't say, is just don't surveil me.
See, he says, in response to the San Bernardino thing, he said, since the San Bernardino shooting, everyone is saying, we need more surveillance of Americans. But he said, in reality, what we need is more targeted surveillance, meaning not Congress. Anyway, I really wanted to bring that out because it's classic karma catching up. But it is what it is.
Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
Join On Target Radio at the Chicagoland Gun Show, January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th at the Donald D. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont. Your ticket also allows you to enjoy the Chicago Outdoor Sports Show. This year, you can get a taste of the shooting sports at our indoor air rifle tent and laser practice pistol competition. If you want to get a Utah concealed carry permit, Safer USA will offer the class on Saturday morning. So don't miss the Chicagoland Gun Show, January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th at the Donald D. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont. Don't forget to attend the ISRA Grassroots Group near you in January. The Wheaton Group meets on the third Tuesday of the month. Their next meeting will be Tuesday, January 19th at 7 p.m. at the Seven Dwarfs Restaurant in Wheaton. The Deerfield Group meets on the third Wednesday of the month. Their next meeting will be Wednesday, January 20th at 7 p.m. at Deerfield Italian Kitchen in Deerfield. The Will County Group meets on the third Wednesday of the month. Their next meeting will be Wednesday, January 20th at 7 p.m. at Silver Dollar Restaurant in Elwood. The Chatham Chicago Southside Group meets on the third Thursday of the month. Their next meeting will be Thursday, January 21st at 7 p.m. at A+ Security and Safety Training in Chicago. The women's holster class that I teach has gone to a girls' night in format only. The class addresses firearm selection, rationale for female-specific holsters, demonstration of about 9 holsters, and plenty of time to try on holsters and discuss concealed carry. If you would like to schedule a fun, informative get-together for 4 or more women, contact me or David directly by email, phone, or Facebook. The following Safer USA classes are at our facility in Waterman. Saturday and Sunday, March 12th and 13th, March 19th and 20th, and April 2nd and 3rd, Illinois Concealed Carry 1. This 16-hour class will be taught by David and Gretchen and meets the training requirements for Illinois Concealed Carry, as well as Florida, Arizona, and Utah. Sunday, April 10th, Tactical Pistol 1 and 2, taught by David. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on register. Why do I even read your classes if you're going to make faces at me?
No, we're running out of time, and I want to get this in. So we're going to be at the SHOT Show, and we're going to be covering it. We're going to do video. Where do they go?
They go to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/OnTargetRadio.
Okay, so that's where you see us. We'll put out a news Tuesday night, and Wednesday night we'll actually put out news. This is our first shot at this. We're giving this our best shot. Yes. Okay. We'd like to thank you all for listening to On Target Radio. Talk to you next week with more red meat issues that affect your life.
We'd also like to thank George Hoffman on the board, Rick Cizak, our social media director, and our sponsors, Ed Ronkowski, the Illinois State Rifle Association, the Aurora Sportsman's Club, and Safer USA.
And as always, thank you, Michael, for making it all happen.